absent. We need God. Only God can bring us out of this mess.
Wonderfully made. I may not look like you and you me, but that's the way it's supposed to be. Dare to be you, dare to be me, and dare to be different and unique. I'm gonna be the best me I can be by letting His glory shine through. Dare to be you, dare to be me, and dare to be different.
Good morning, everybody. We made it through the weekend. Praise the Lord. So we're coming to you 75 degrees, partly sunny here in the city of Baltimore. And it was one busy weekend. Oh my God. Where did the weekend go? Friday night, I had an opportunity to go to a part of the world that I wasn't that familiar with. Michael Johnson, I don't know what you're talking about, but let me send Michael Johnson an invite. You know, some of my best ideas come late night. So it is, I will admit, it is nothing for me to call one of my guests late and ask him to show up. But this guy is necessary because he's got some information that I need. That's Michael Eugene Johnson. Anyway, I went out to Zion Baptist, and this is all the way out there, 1717 Bronin Highway. If I live on Pennsylvania Avenue, off Pennsylvania Avenue, Bronin Highway, to say the least, is not around the corner. So we had a gubernatorial forum. I wanted to get you the name of the event. Let's see. And so I got to thank Dr. Stephen Thomas. And come to find out, Stephen Thomas is actually Dr. Thomas. He's out at Morgan State University in political science. So big ups to you, Stephen Thomas, for pulling together a great event. We had most of the gubernatorial candidates. Francho did not show. Westmore had a previous engagement. I just wanted to read you the flyer. The gubernatorial town hall, and they were masked up. Oh, Lord, they were masked up. At Zion Baptist Church of Christ, 1717 Broning Highway, on education, economics, and equity. And many thanks to the AKAs, the Zetas, Alpha Sigma chapter, and Alpha Phi Alpha. And there was one other fraternity out there. I know Monumental City Bar was represented, the Ministers Conference. I think that's everybody. Really nice event. I was glad to moderate. I don't know if you've ever had 6 or 7 gubernatorial candidates at one time. When I think of group dynamics, somebody is bound to clown. Somebody is bound to want more time than everybody else. I was watching the news late last night, ended up staying on the phone well past midnight, talking with Dr. Cheryl Pastor. Good morning, Michael.
Good morning, Donnie, and thank you for allowing me to be on your show.
I don't know if you caught it, but the Baltimore County school superintendent is the black man, is running into some opposition. And the source seems to be the transportation, the buses and bus drivers. I saw a man yesterday, lives not far from here. And he said he was trying to find a job. They don't laugh at me, but I told him Chipotle is hiring. It's right on the subway. Come to find out, he can only work 4 hours a day. There are a lot of people that need employees. I know I'm shifting gears a bit, but anyway, I think there are jobs out here, but some people got special requirements. We got to show up. I'll tell you who is showing up every daggone where I look in the city of Baltimore. I'm seeing Latinos and Latinas. I'm seeing the Latinas hold the signs up, like slow down at the construction on a given street. And I'm wondering, damn, they just holding the damn pole. Do we want to work, Mike?
You know, Donnie, that is a tough question and a fair question, because I, like you, have worked to get folk jobs. But there are some folk, I've just come to this conclusion, there's some folks that just don't want to work.
How'd your parents say it?
Now, well, you don't want to work, you ain't got a pot to piss in or a window to throw it out. That's how my parents would say it.
How about this one? They wouldn't work in a pie factory.
Yeah. And that because I know the people that run the signage, what you call traffic control. I've met them a few times. I've taken young people to them, and they are short of help so much. But we've got to be able to start saying to our community that some of us just don't want to do the right thing. I mean, it has been tough for my family. We've lost 2 people in my family in 4 days in between. One on East Avenue, sitting in his car, just coming home from work. Wasn't doing anything, went to visit his old neighborhood. Came through, sprayed the block, and shot him in the head and killed him. And then in Emerson Village, the 17-year-old that killed a 32-year-old, that was another relative of mine who got killed for doing nothing but saying, man, get out of the way so I can get into the door. And so between working and the criminal activity, man, we got some work to do. And I don't know if I have that much time, but I'll do what I can with the time that I have.
Mike, you're a couple of days older than me. Have you ever seen Baltimore like this before?
Never. And I've been here 66, it'll be 67 years this year. I've never seen the just lawlessness at this level. I've seen murders. I've seen, as you have, we've had experiences of murder. The crack cocaine era was a horrific time period in our community. But this now is just too many people got too many guns that don't supposed to have guns.
I don't know if you've been to my YouTube channel, but I got an interview up about 15 minutes, and I shared some thoughts from over the past 20 years. One of the things I talk about, we're going to get to, I know you had a press conference. Matter of fact, I saw C.D. Witherspoon on a clip. But Freddie Gray, I've concluded, is the worst event of the past 47 years in Baltimore.
Well, I think that I can say what happened after Freddie Gray is the worst events. I've seen the police shoot a man and kill him right in front of Lexington Market. You remember that incident. I've been a victim of being sat on the curb in a suit and all of that. But I think that when the police department made a conscious decision not to do anything and to sit down. That's what I say. Right. And just remember this. That was 5 years ago now. Seven years ago. Sorry. 7 years ago. If a child was 12 years old, she's now 19. If a child was 15 years old, they're older. So for 5 to 7 years, they've seen total lack of policing and safety procedures within our community. And this is now where they've grown up. I mean, the corners are so much worse. You used to could go into a store, even if you had to go around the boys, and go into the store and come out without being harassed or anything. But now it's
I want to interject this.
yes, sir.
I live down here in Sandtown, and I quite often go to the corner stores.
Mm-hmm.
We cannot be afraid of our young people.
Absolutely.
If you do get intimidated, just remember, if they wanted to bust your head, they would have busted your head.
But some young people need a catalyst. Some young people need a
Yeah,
lit.
but
Because
if you're just going to the store, let me just say this: if you're just going to the store, give respect, and you're quite likely to get respect. If you do go, hold up, let me finish this out, man.
Okay.
I understand we don't like loitering. We don't like having to say, excuse me, because that is the proper way to say it, not excuse me. But they understand that too. But although you see our young men loitering, don't disrespect them. Don't bump into them, say, excuse me, be polite. I'm saying I've seen people go at it the wrong way and things not turn out pretty.
Absolutely.
I heard one young man said to an older lady that she got straight out the gate on him, and he's a thug for our conversation. He's a young man who's determined to do it, but he's respectful. Can you get that?
Yeah.
He's doing what he do, but he does have a modicum of respect. And all he said to her was essentially, I'm not trying to hurt you. I'm trying to respect you, and I'm giving you respect, and you're disrespecting me. She was very mean, dismissive. I don't know who she slept with or what got under her skin, but she brought it in that store. I thank God that the young man, although he was breaking law, he was not disrespecting her. He was not standing in her way. He was not impeding her flow of traffic. But she said something that she could have kept to herself. And all I'm saying is, we talk about these young people all the time. They are people too. And if you, here's something. Friday, coming back from this gubernatorial forum, and I'm going to shut up. I got my gear on. A young man was rolling a blunt right there at the checkout window. Now, at this point in time, we should not be surprised. If a police would have come in there, he would have kept rolling it. I've seen him roll in front of the police and puff in front of the police. But nonetheless, the most beautiful experience. I got my gear on, trying to get my little bag and go in the house. Pick up whatever I need from the store. And the young man looked up and said, where do you work? I pulled out a card, bam! And I said, I work for myself. I picked up my bag and I walked out the door. I know something happened that day, and time will tell what happened. If he caught the ball, what ball he caught. But he saw a cat in his neighborhood, 11 o'clock at night, geared up, who was engaging to him. And I hope it planted a seed for somewhere down the road. Can't be a man, you don't see a man. Can't talk about the young people if we don't engage them. I defer to you, Elder.
Every day I work with young people, and every day I expect respect, and I give respect to a child, not to okay, because there are levels of respect. There are respect I give to a child, respect I give to a young teenager, and respect I give to an older person. We have to start, though, really saying, is it okay for these institutions of the store owners, and somebody just put that up, of the store owners? And are we going after the institutions more than we're going after the participants?
How many times you want the store owner to say something to these young people? The police come there.
But Donnie, you and I know, not to step on your words, you and I know the store owner ain't saying jack. The store owners, some of the store owners are just as involved with gun moving and drug activity as anything else going on in these communities. And it's been proven over and over again, from taking public assistance stamps to selling drugs or to having the capacity. The institutions within our community has to start being responsible, not by going out there and putting themselves on the line, because they've already made a decision they don't want to be part of you because of the glass and the things that separate us. But somewhere along the line, the institution.
They may say that, but I've seen these same store owners. You're right. They are oftentimes complicit. But let me say this in their defense. These young people are in your store all day, every day. They are your family.
No, they're not. No, they're not. They're consumers. If they weren't in your stores, you would not be sending your child to college or your child to public school. I mean, to private school.
We may not want it.
I have problems when I go into a store, and I go into corner stores as well, Donna. Usually I don't, because I try to shop as you do, primarily the African American community. But you're looking at 11 o'clock at night, you need to get what you need to get. We're going to get it. But I don't like going, I don't see me going into a store calling somebody mama. I don't see.
Oh, no, I ain't saying they're your family.
Well, no, when you say your family, what we have a tendency to do is that we separate. We haven't.
Now, I ain't the one calling the Korean lady mom.
I know you not. I know you are.
Black people, the Korean lady is not your mother.
Thank you.
Okay. Let's get back.
But as we say with young people, when I say them, I get because of this gray hair, I'll get, hey, Unc, how you doing? I'm good, man. I'm good. How you doing? You know, you're okay.
Unc is a sign of respect.
Well, to some it is. From a young
person's perspective, Unc is a sign of respect. OG is a sign of respect.
Right. Well, I get that, and I appreciate that one, because I think I am one.
Now, if they know that you're buying cocaine, your respect has gone to a different level.
Well, that was the comment. We were at a seminar. I was
at a seminar. There are adults all day, every day.
Yeah.
Black, white, Asian, Latino. I haven't seen any Indians from India yet. But they buying coke, dope, and Ready Rock. I had to put a white guy off of Penderhughes Elementary yesterday. Said, sir, you can't shoot dope here. Kids play here. He proceeded to gather stuff and leave. But the men in the community have to step up. I don't get no thrill out of checking people who are disrespecting my neighborhood. But a lot of times we are disrespecting our own neighborhoods. In Sandtown, I see people who apparently like sitting around trash.
Yeah, what is it? Yes.
I'm not talking about the avenue. I'm talking about a regular old street.
Yeah.
People, there are black people. I ain't talking about nobody else who likes sitting around trash. Then I got a neighbor who used to live across the street. She be sweeping gutters all day, every day. She despised trash. Got another neighbor. that the spy's looking at weed, so he pull out the weed whacker. But one by one, they're leaving our community. The lady moved and the man moved.
The whole idea of gentrification is bringing.
I knew you was going to say that.
The whole idea of gentrification is bringing the community to its knees first. That's historic. You bring the community to its knees, okay. And you bring that by you have the worst public school system within the community. 2, you don't provide any type of safety, and when it comes to policing, and 3, city services. A conversation I had at a Jewish synagogue recently when someone said, why isn't there a better relationship with blacks and Jews? And I said very clearly, you moved. I didn't move. When I moved in Park Heights in 1960, you were here with me. You kept moving. So what relationship do you want me to do? Chase you? You want me to chase you? No, there's no relationship if you move.
It's a straight gentrification. Because the lady across the street, the corner house, she and her husband, they died. And the grandson moved to Texas. Is that gentrification or is that abandonment?
Well, I mean, that's abandonment, but that story does not the majority of the story. When you got
okay, what is the majority of the story? Because
you develop a model.
Hold up.
Oh, yes, Donnie.
I want to preface by saying this. For the past 50 years, we want to live out past the Beltway.
No, that's not true. Donnie, if I got children, and my daughter fortunately went through the Baltimore City Public Schools, but if I would have had a child within the last 20 years, it is nowhere in the world that I could have remained my child in a broken public school system if it's about my generation, if it's about my lineage. I have to take my child, take my family where it's better. And for some people, not all, but for some people, moving is better. Services is better. Taxes are less.
Not if you go out there with the same mentality. Let me tell you what I mean. We got New Town out in Owens Mills. We got Deer Park Middle out in Owens Mills.
Yeah.
Last night I was on the phone with Dr. Cheryl Pastor, educator in Baltimore County. Used to be a principal out there at Randallstown. She's on her way to being the delegate in 11A.
Good possibility. I hope so.
All right, so I want to paint this picture. You got Baltimore City, and you got the county that surrounds Baltimore City, right? East side of the county, the west side of the county. So the county surrounds the city. Most of us live in the northwest part of the county. But the county seat is over there where we go shopping at Towsontown. And the Baltimore County Board of Education is 2 minutes from Towsontown. So we live all the way over here, Randallstown. And the only reason we go over here to Towsontown is to go shopping. We don't go to the county council meetings, and we don't go to the county board of education meetings. But we go to Towsontown Mall. We don't show up. We think just because we moved to the county, it's a panacea and everything is going to be lovey-dovey. And we don't even know the teachers' names. We ain't G-checked them. We think the school system's supposed to educate our children. I thought it started at home.
Well, you can't teach someone if you don't know how to learn yourself. And so let's be clear, we're speaking about probably a third generation who've moved to Baltimore County. Them first 2 and first 3 generations that were moving in Baltimore County were going out to Baltimore County to better and were better than lives, which many of Black folk is now. I mean, the property value is off the chain. I mean, I don't know, my brother who moved in Baltimore County 33 years ago paid $80,000 for his home. 2 doors down last week, a house went for $340,000 on his same block. But that's a real estate issue. I agree with you but I also have to remember how generations move and how people have migrated. And I don't have a problem. I don't think that people are owned to Baltimore City. I don't think you have to stay. Now, you and I have. I'm the youngest of 11. I'm the last Johnson off that first generation.
My only point is, if you live in Randallstown, Hoodlawn, or Owen, my arm and my leg mills, and you ain't never been to a county board of education meeting, what have you really done?
But but from the perspective and educators, from the educators that I know in Baltimore County, and even the parents that I know in Baltimore County, going to the school board is not the decision they make. They make decisions in the school, the communities that run the school, because we can talk about how, yes, I agree with you that the Baltimore County African-American schools on the west side are not as scored high as Baltimore County and other areas. But boy, they got a long way to go before they get close to the scores that we have here in Baltimore City. Because with the
I'm glad you said that.
Well, just with the grade changing alone, Donnie, I mean, a school like Weston, a school like City High School.
Let me set it up for you. What were you doing Friday?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear that.
What were you doing Friday?
We were having a clear presentation to the media that the numbers of the changing of the scores and the changing of the grades is something that the community really needs to rally behind. What the hell is going on? And that how are we going to organize it? We also introduced Project 4.0. Project 4.0 is that we're going to be back in Annapolis again this year to get 4 more people elected to the school board during the mayor's election, which would give us 6. That way the mayor would have 6 and we would have 6. So our whole objective was to talk about the numbers, to talk, not to sit down there and bang up on Sister Santa Lisa, good, bad, or indifferent, not to bang on people. No, these numbers. And what do these numbers mean? Because, Donnie, for me and you, I always was an average student. I would, I know I might have had a 69 and the teacher gave me a point to give me a 70. That's cool. But they weren't going to pass me if I was failing. And that proved when I had to repeat a class myself. But I just believe that what we're trying to do is we're trying to pile up the numbers as if things are going and people are graduating, and they're not. And the biggest recruiter for Baltimore City public school students is Amazon, Target, and Walmart. That's where our students that are graduating or finishing high school are going. And the problem we had with the numbers is what we explained at that press conference.
80,000 students in Baltimore City public schools, 12,000 are in question as it relates to the changing of grades.
12,450.
So 1 in 8 of our students.
Good number, yeah.
1 in 8 have failed. And if you told the truth that 1 in 8 failed, then what happens? Money is taken back?
Yeah, because as I said in the press conference, if you still were going to allow a child to participate of walking across the stage, I don't know when you graduate. When I graduate, I owe the library book. And so when I got my diploma and I opened up my diploma, it said, surprise, you owe the library book. I couldn't get my diploma until then. Why couldn't we have taken the students instead of just arbitrarily passing them, saying, no, you got to go to summer school. You have to do this. You have to do that. But just to give them that point to a false sense of success, because we've got to be tougher in these school systems. We've got to put the same type of academic struggles, no, the wrong word, academic stuff that you had and that I had. If it's good for City, it's good for Poly, it's good for Digital Harbor, it's good for Weston, and it's good for Vivian Thomas, then it should be good for the rest of the high school.
We've contaminated the culture of public education.
It has been,
We have contaminated the culture of public education. My daddy's generation.
Yeah.
Then your generation. Then my generation. I heard nothing but good things from my daddy about Douglas. I think you went to Northwestern. I've only heard good things from you about
Do you know that when
Northwestern.
your daddy, do you know when your daddy was at Douglas, that people were coming from around the country and were living in their cousins' basements and bedrooms because Douglas was considered the best school for black folk in America?
Okay, so then 54 comes with integration. I think Poly was the first Baltimore City public school to integrate. I'm sure there were others. And then I understand that the black men that integrated Poly helped spur integrating women in there. Sound like a brother too. We need some sisters up in here. Go ahead, brothers. But okay. So you're now integrated, but some other things happen. We weren't paying total attention. I'm gonna say it right here, and if your feelings get hurt, maybe you need to look at the truth. We've allowed. Okay, first of all, we raised our children and other people's children.
Absolutely.
Since we first interacted with the non-blacks in North America. Our great-great-grandmothers put breast milk in these little boys and little girls' mouths, raised them when their parents were not around. So we have a history in this country of raising other people's children. Only for that little child to come up and start disrespecting that same one. But let me take that off the table. Back then, you could pray in school. There was a day and time you could pray in school. But this woman, and I don't know her name, she came and sued, said that you can't make children pray. See, that's where we should have first G-checked her ass and throw her in the damn harbor. Because you got somebody who ain't been raising their own children telling you how to raise yours. And you've been raising theirs. So then they take prayer out. And you've seen the bumper sticker, Mr. Michael. The bumper sticker goes like this. We took prayer out to schools, and now the prisons are filled. Now public education seems more concerned with teaching my 5-year-old grandson about gay and straight and sex. And it's like, hold up, Slim. That's none of your damn business what my 5-year-old thinks about sex. Christians better step up. We say this is a Christian nation. We about to find out because it seemed more like Sodom and Gomorrah to me.
I'm saying
pushing up on a 5-year-old. Down in Virginia, they were doing it. You teach them kids. These kids, they barely know how to go to the bathroom.
And with that, gender awareness is what it's called. That is actually going through Baltimore's state of Maryland school board right now as we're speaking, is being discussed. Is something that folks need, for those that have an opinion on it, need to make sure that their opinion is being heard. I agree with you. I would be very clear with my 2 grandsons because I have, had an opportunity. My daughter and my son-in-law have done a very good job with them. But no, I would want to be the one to explain that.
Because I just remember saying the Pledge of Allegiance out there at the SBA. One nation, indivisible, under God, with liberty and justice for all.
But that wasn't true during that time, Donnie. That wasn't true during my time. That wasn't true during that time, and that's not true now.
The same rules by which they lock us up free us, send us to war. So is it two sets of rules?
It's always been two sets of rules. It's
And
always been two
black
sets.
and white is for rich and poor, right?
Yeah, well, race got a lot to do with it. Race has a lot to do with it. I think that what we've done, especially when we go to the school systems, I think that we've decided that we wanted to make it easy. We didn't want to challenge children anymore like they challenged us. I mean, like I said, only A's I saw was in my name. I know how I struggled in high school and in college. But at the end of the day, it was challenging. We're not challenging now. We're now even saying we're not even going to have them going to school at 7:40 or 7:30. They're going to move the time period to 9 and 10 o'clock now at some schools. And then the parents are freaking out because they have a child to go to one school that's got one time to arrival and another. But we've also eliminated the neighborhoods as we know it, Donnie. The neighborhoods that you and I grew up in. Segregation, one thing, made neighborhoods because it was where you lived at. You and I did. I mean, I know I didn't have no white boys running in and out of Park Heights buying nothing. Now, they may have owned the stores, but they wasn't coming down and play basketball, or they wasn't coming down buying any drugs for drugs that were being sold.
The young people say they my customers. Leave them alone.
Of course they are. They say that because young people, again, that doesn't understand the meaning of a neighborhood because we haven't presented it to them. Black folk have been in power in this city almost 60 years. Almost since 1972, when all of the state senators and the delegates started really rolling in and Perrin Mitchell became the congressman. I mean, there was never a plan for the black community. It was get elected, not a plan, get elected.
And that's more progress out of the Republicans than I have seen out of the Democrats.
Well, because we can identify with some of their conservative notions because the conservative notions comes right out of the black family.
Yeah,
we went to church on Sundays.
How much they pay? They pay the school CEO
$357,000 a year.
Who was smoking crack that day?
But it's about the school board. She's just an employee of the school board.
You know what? I'm tired of hearing that because they said the same thing about the last one. Okay. Somebody don't know how to run a business.
When you have politically appointed the leadership of a school system.
Same with the police commissioner. Somebody don't know how to run a business.
But he came in. I will never forget it. When he came in, he was at Forest Park the first day. And I said to the press as well, I said to Mayor Pugh at the same time. I said, he's going to be here. He's going to eat his money up. And it's quite obvious he's eating his money up. And at the end of the day, he's going to roll out with $1.5 million, which is about what his contract will end up. He paid no rent, no taxes, none of that.
Who negotiated that deal?
Right.
Who did?
Well, it had to come out of the mayor's office.
Then but it was up to the city council know how to run a business. Sir? Then she clearly did not know how to do business.
No. I think that I agree with some parts.
I'll be damn if I'm gonna pay you top dollar and I don't know what you're gonna produce.
Then who are you gonna get?
Hey, I tell you what they ain't. I tell you what you ain't gonna get is $400,000 of Baltimore City's residents' money for going around from press conference to press conference. Let's go back to Pugh. The first thing she did before she got when she got elected, she ran over to get Obama to sign the consent decree. It's been 7 years, and the consent decree has caused the cops to do nothing.
Absolutely.
I hear them saying they collect a lot of guns. I don't see it. Now, back during O'Malley, I could believe it because everybody and their dog was getting locked up. But this right here, you saying you get more guns off the street now than then? Stop lying.
Well, there's no again. I would rather have
Don't lie to me. Go away.
I would rather have McGarrett than Kojak. See, McGarrett and his people would go out in the streets and take care of business, and Kojak and them sitting there and suck a lollipop. And that's what you're getting. You're not getting no new real policing anymore.
Oh, I like Kojak.
You like Kojak, okay. But you know what I mean, the scenario. The problem that we have is give me more untouchables and back up Dick Tracy. I want some people on the street. The gun trace task force was wrong in its picking of his staff.
The police management was wrong for allowing that gun trace task force to go unchecked, and they didn't know, because you ain't gonna keep collecting money. You ain't gonna keep sticking up drug dealers and word not get back to the top.
Hello.
Hey, look here, boy. Why don't you drop a paper bag on my back porch? I know you just took off $1 million. Put my cut. You know where.
Absolutely.
You're not gonna tell me I'm gonna give you license to go out there and make money, and you ain't gonna contribute to my re-election campaign.
Well, there's a scene right in Denzel.
You ain't gonna tell me that.
There's a scene in Denzel Washington's movie that he won the Academy Award playing the police when he said we gotta make sure we take care of the hand. And the hand is the same hand that we have now. The problem, like you said, in the last 7 years has been that the police have sat in their hand. Lawlessness has gone up. People ain't making that much money on the street doing that much drug because you got pharmacies.
Well, they selling dope. They are selling dope. They selling dope.
It's a lot of deaths.
They selling dope.
They also selling pills.
They selling heroin. Baltimore heroin town.
Yeah, there's a lot of pills in this town too. A lot of pills in this town. A lot of pills that came out of that CVS. All to that CVS on Emerson Avenue or Franklin Town Road and the one over there in Pennsylvania North. Lots.
The words say, if my people who are called by my name shall humble themselves and pray and seek my face and turn from their wicked ways, then I will hear from heaven. I will heal the land. There is a requirement on our part. If my people should humble themselves, I'm seeing 55-year-old dudes on 3-wheel bikes coming through the community playing rap music.
Pumping it too. Not just playing it, pumping it.
But you telling me this same dude can't make it to the school board meeting in Baltimore County?
No, I'm not saying, but see, I think we keep putting the onus on the people.
Stop, Mike. We stop. We think the struggle is over. I moved around and said, I can relax now. No, you can't.
Oh, no, not when the point being is we have a moral crisis going on within our community. We know we always had a crisis with racism. We always had a crisis with the way that people have treated us by being the color that we are. But we now have a moral crisis. We have a moral crisis when it comes from the preacher who's out there putting babies in some of their parishioners, and then they want to run in front of you and act like they holier than thou. We have a moral problem when we sit back and allow the school system to miseducate our children for the last 27 years, and at least in this city, and now moving, as you say, west of Baltimore County. But we have a moral problem, and I don't know where that answer is, but I know if you don't have any faith, you don't have any faith.
If you don't have any men in the family.
But one thing that we have to be careful is that we keep saying the men in the neighborhoods as if we got neighborhoods. We don't have neighborhoods anymore. We have places where people live.
We have neighborhoods. The Black community has been under attack since our first interaction with the Pilgrims. It has been war, and it is still
absolutely.
War. It is war. But we think because we move beyond the Beltway that the war is over.
But for many people who've made that decision, who put their time in their jobs, who bought these homes, who are doing the right thing, who children are doing the right thing, those are the people we need to be uplifting. What we have to do is start being somewhat, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, patriotic, matriarchic within our neighborhoods, that people aren't doing the right thing. They aren't picking up the trash, as you say. They aren't cleaning up their steps, as you say. They aren't putting their trash out properly. Their dogs are pooting in the street. So we have a moral problem, but we've got to be able to identify. We can't keep putting it all on everyone.
Love. Sisters, the brothers, listen to the music. It ain't no.
Thank you.
Try a little tenderness. Ain't no more Al Green.
Well, we gave $400 million to the Pimlico racetrack, and they gave us Megan Thee Stallion.
No, we accepted.
No,
we accepted it.
Right. Well, I'm saying you didn't think that you were going to have any pushback from whom? Lonely me, little old you and me.
Hey, bro, that is not the way to get Donnie Glover. Hey, I like looking at a beautiful woman, but come on now. If I want, come on now. Is that our best? That's the best. That's the best you can do for your people.
For $400 million that you gave them, that's what they gave us.
So
they gave them yesterday. Well, yesterday they gave them Paul McCartney at the stadium. They gave us Megan Thee Stallion at the
and some music, and take everything else from us.
Well, we got to see who's delivering the message.
For the Preakness, but we won't. How many people showed up at your press conference at Baltimore City Public Schools?
Probably about a good 16.
See, next time you got to relabel that joint a day party. You got to say you're having an all-white party at Baltimore City, because that's what we respond to.
But it was never about, in all due respect, my friend, it was never about the population coming. It was, did I get the media there? 13, 11, and 2. I wasn't even going to deal with 45. And what did I get out of that? Well, I got one person that acted like a damn fool who wasn't even associated to the press conference, had to be escorted out of the school building, but he wasn't even associated with us. But WMAR connected the melee that he had with our press conference, which now they've apologized and pulled it down, because I went to the station to talk to the station manager that day.
We know what white media does.
But if we don't correct the media, see, we don't correct the media will do what it do. And so when I had Brother Darren Muhammad's brother to come and disrupt the press conference, yell and scream at everybody, it took away, at least for WMAR, 13 and 11, they put it back together and was able to make sure that they covered what we were trying to get across.
Well, see, that's why we need black media.
Absolutely.
This is black media.
Absolutely.
We don't own the internet, but we control what goes on these airwaves.
And before that, we can look at WOLB and the Kathy Hughes Network.
Black media.
Yeah, I mean, they sit around acting like they're black media, but they're poisoning.
Michael?
Yes, sir.
Is that black media?
No, that is media that is presented as black media.
We need to know the difference.
Yeah.
Kathy Hughes is the figurehead at the top, but this is a publicly traded company. And as long as I've known Radio One, they've had a white Jew as the general manager for the past 25 years.
At 7 stations across the country.
That can't be black media, because black media is not led by white people.
And it's
no longer black media. Whether it's Larry Young, Kathy Pugh, whomever, if at the end of the day, a white man is making decisions, that's not black media.
Well,
I control this media.
Well, absolutely. And I think that we have, I've been put in that same situation. I think that we have expected things, because even stations that we knew, the SIDs, the EBBs prior to James Brown, and those stations that, even though they were owned, $owned by white folk, the black relationship to the community and the people that ran those stations were black men in particular, except when one was a black woman. This now, is a whole different situation.
We've had media personalities on for 20 years who should be in a prison cell some damn where. Not talking about anything related to the community. Okay, Michael.
No, I mean you have some so-called media or commentators or hosts who will be on their own show, whatever, and all they'll talk about all day is black people. They'll talk about firing, removing, this and that. All they'll talk about is black. Won't talk about a white folk at all. Won't talk about the bigger institutions.
A disservice with some of the garbage she's put on the airwaves.
Well, disservice for some of the garbage that's been put on other airways, not just hers.
I'm talking about Radio 1.
Okay.
Michael, can you talk about the changes you want to make as a board member of the school board?
Well, one of the things, that I'm looking at, if I'm allowed, if it's God's will, if I'm allowed, is that, we need to start having school board meetings in the community. Because as you have said, Donnie, which makes a lot of sense, how many people actually show up at these school board meetings? Not that many when you have 78,000.
And we talking about Baltimore City.
We're talking about Baltimore City. We're talking about Baltimore City too. Not that many people show up either now.
I get it. But hold up. Who wants to show up all the way over there at North Avenue for some clown behind a desk to say 30 seconds, Michael Johnson, because they did it to Charlie Duggar for years.
And me and myself. So if we're able to get school board meetings within the communities where these schools are and have that
school board, like they won't let the young people that live in the vicinity of Dorothy Height use the recreation facilities unless they go to the school.
Well, that's across the board. I mean, that
you took my damn tax dollars, and now you won't allow my children to play in a building that my tax dollars built.
But until a board member sits there and explain to the parents and let the community know that they got the power in those buildings.
Why hasn't it happened in all these years, man?
Sir?
Why hasn't it happened in all of these years?
Because you're talking about a system right now that's $1.4 billion. 21% of that goes on North Avenue alone. It's about money and miseducating a black kid.
Need to be going to jail. I agree with the government.
I mean, that investigation is moving forward. They sent them to jail in Atlanta.
They should have been had a damn investigation.
But they haven't. So we have to move forward.
What the hell have people been doing?
Because it's all been about the gatekeepers. The gatekeepers are the people who protect the institutions. And what we have to do is have a disruptor.
Take them out back and give them charge papers too.
It's about being a disruptor. That's one of the things I'm going to do.
Lock them the hell up. Because what they've done at the school board is more egregious than what some of these delegates have done for $15,000 and $35,000.
And we've been appointing members on the school board for 187 years.
We need to take them out back to the woodshed.
They've been, like I said, they've been for 193 years. They've been politically appointing school board members.
It's not working. Insanity.
It didn't work.
Is doing the same thing and expecting a different result. Why you mean to tell me we don't see this car ain't going nowhere? And it started with people like Alonzo. Alonzo got rid of 75% of the principals in one swoop and nobody said a word. Now you got all these white ladies teachers and they putting little Jamal on Ritalin.
Tell the story.
When the black teachers we had gave us love.
Yeah. I mean, it wasn't until my daughter got into high school that she actually had a black male teacher.
And where's the recruitment for black teachers?
They're coming out of Coppins. They're coming out of Morgan.
Where's the effort to recruit black teachers?
Thank you.
That should be the priority. It's
priority one.
Black city.
Priority one should be recruiting black male teachers. Priority one.
Where's the emphasis? Who is saying this? Is it the mayor? Is it the school CEO? Who is saying it's obvious? And here's another thing. If your children are not in the Baltimore City public schools, then we don't need you. If you're going to sell me a product that you don't use, you need to get to stepping.
And that goes with the entire school.
The whole damn board. And
you
if
got
you ain't got
10
no
members.
children, then I want to know why the hell you in there anyway.
You got 10 members.
I said it. We got too many people without children trying to tell people with children how to raise their children. You can't lace up my shoes. You never walked.
And the worst crime, one of the biggest crimes going on in the Baltimore City public school system is how they're handling our children who need that special needs, who truly needs, not the ones they identify because they got conduct problems, but the ones that they truly need, the IEPs. How do we really move that needle forward? Because those students, unfortunately, are really being mishandled in the Baltimore City public schools. And we have to be able to recognize that we own the buildings. Not this principal, not North Avenue with the 3-page application to have a basketball pickup game. No. So someone says we need a disruptor. Here I am. Give me an opportunity. I'm going to show you how you disrupt the meeting.
So, Mike, when are you going to start your show on this network? You've been giving us the run.
Right. No, I said right after this election. I'd love it after November the 8th. After November the 8th. I love it.
You're running for office?
I'm running for Baltimore City Public School Commissioner. There are 2 elected positions after 193 years. We are trying, that would make it, they actually moved it to 12 instead of 10. We begged in Annapolis not to make it 12, just cut the mayor off at 8 and give us 2. He's appointing 2 people this summer. It was very funny because I was walking somewhere and I saw the mayor and he says, Michael, I thought you'd be out campaigning. And I said to the mayor, shouldn't have had the campaign if you would have appointed me. And that ended that conversation at that time.
Do you think he's set for re-election?
I find it very difficult, but it's all going to be who's running against him.
What about
who is it going to be?
What about this governor's race? Did you?
I'm a Westmore man till the day of the election, to the end of the election. I'm a Westmore man, and for me, I'm Westmore. Tim Adams. I had a black elected official. Quick story. Come up to me and say, "Who are you going to carry on your ballot?" And I said, Tim Adams, Westmore, Brown. And they said, well, you should take a knee on a controller's race. And I said, I should take a knee. I said, why should I take a knee? Well, you may need some assistance if the other lady wins. Well, I don't know what assistance that I'm going to need from her that she can't legally give me. But this is an African-American elected official who doesn't even have anybody running against this person. And they tell me I should take a knee because I shouldn't have an African-American successful man.
Does that elected official have children?
Yes, actually. Yes. Rare, but yes.
And what was their reasoning?
Oh, that the other person is probably going to win, and then you wouldn't have a friend in the controller's office. I don't want a friend in the controller's office. I want somebody to do the job.
You know, we run for office. And let's just tell the truth. Some of us are enamored with power.
Yep.
Hey, a lot of people, they would talk about Elijah Cummings, power. Power to do what?
Thank you.
Have you looked around West Baltimore? Power to do what?
Yeah. And we've had a congressman in that district since 1972. 50 years.
So is it power to get your name mentioned first as we go in? Oh, here's Congressman Donnie Glover. Is it power to name a building after? Okay, this building's named after Donnie Glover. Or is it power to get our young people like 100% graduation and acceptance into college?
Yeah, or even from my standpoint of trying to bring the trade schools to the middle schools so we can move the person up. I mean, I'd rather have a person
I mean,
who's
but we all want power to do what?
some people just want power to see their names, power to get a check every now and then. Some people want to, there's a line in Mel Brooks's movie Blazing Saddle.
Grown ass people, they really should have it together by now. You figure the pandemic alone would have G checked all of us and got us back on point. Whatever we were slipping on, we back on point. A pandemic where people are, you talk to them, hey, I'm talking to Joe Blow. Damn, Joe Blow just died. Well, damn, I just talked. You will figure that if we ever needed the Lord before, we sure do need him now.
Absolutely.
You will figure that would resonate by now. You will figure that, okay, this person right here has burnt me 17 times. You will figure in the pandemic, you'd be like, you can't come over here. You have no credit. We keep giving people credit who have
With no
violated.
receipts. With no receipts.
How can people support you, Michael Johnson?
Well, you can go on our webpage at citizensformej.com, or you can call us at 443-531-1922. Give me a call. That's my cell phone number. I need you at the polls. I need you to vote, and I need you to vote often.
Well,
Thank you, Donnie.
Whatever we can do to help your campaign, I will personally support you. Are you supporting anyone? You said it's 2 slots. I saw you and the young man with the kufi or the African fez.
Well, CD is running, and I know he's a good brother. There's no, there's Parson, there's a boy Kwame Bay. There are 4 black men and 4 women, and it seems like that none of the folks, none of the unions, none of the newspapers, except for the Afro, has even spoken to any of us, no matter we've sending out questionnaires. We don't get that conversation. The Baltimore Teachers Union endorsed 2 people that are not even from Baltimore. And that's the way it goes.
Who runs the Teachers Union?
An African-American sister is the president of it, who, when I was teaching at Northwestern, I was supporting as well. But I don't even get return phone calls. But I get that. I get that. But we'll be prepared. Got 7 polls on early voting.
I return my phone call. If I see them over on Fox, you better answer my damn call. Because I got a can of spray paint. Hey, did you see these signs? They got Nick Mosby plastered all over West Baltimore.
No, Nick Mosby and Brandon Scott. They're 2 posters.
What the hell did they do? Who put the hit on them?
I don't know where it's coming from. I've been trying to find it out. I'm getting close, but
man, they remind me of the All African People Revolutionary Party flyers.
Remember, they were all over the place. Remember?
Black October, off the push.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my crew. I loved them, Black October. They shut it down for at least a while.
But there was some snitches up in there, too, some betrayers.
Oh, yeah, some snitches called it WLB Radio 1010 in the morning and changed their name from this name to African name. Oh, yeah, there's some snitches.
Oh, you talking about them 3 guys that used to call my show all the time?
We'll talk about it as we move forward. But absolutely. They know. One thing about snitches, snitches know who they are.
It wouldn't bust a grape in a fruit fight.
Not at all. But they'll snitch on you in a heartbeat. Thank you, Donnie.
Power to the people.
Love you, brother. Peace out.
Love you back. My name's Donnie Glover. This has been another edition. Stay tuned for Mr. William Honeyblue. Good morning, world.